Nevertheless, I was looking it up, couldn't find it. But nevertheless, before we get started with the lesson tonight, one thing is, I said Peter had a sword. What's he doing with a sword? And here's the thing: the Lord actually told him to bring a sword. But the key to it is, why did he ask him to bring it? There was an object lesson in him bringing that sword with him. All right, and the object lesson of him bringing the sword was so that he could, I believe part of it is so that Peter could understand this is not how you deal with the work of the Lord. And let me say this as we get ready to get started. Let me say this. In the day and time that we live in now, from just look at it from a political standpoint. From a political standpoint, Christians seem, many Christians, not all, seem like they want to deal with the situations of the kingdom from a political standpoint with a sword, not the sword, the physical sword always, but the tongue, the sword of the tongue, and they want to deal with it also. In some cases, they want to use a physical sword in the form of a gun, or a rifle, or some form of violence. The object lesson here is that, for us, is that we got to learn that if dealing with the things of God was to be handled, with a sword in our day and time. Now, I'm not talking about where God ordains war against a particular country, war against Germany, so that the Jews could be set free. I'm talking about trying to get folks to live the life that we believe in. We believe that people should be saved. We believe they should be born again. We believe they shouldn't. We shouldn't have abortions. People getting abortions. We don't believe in people getting abortions because we don't believe in people having sex before marriage, which is the main reason why people get abortions. So we don't believe in that. We don't believe in those kinds of things. We're not in favor of homosexuality, whether it's male on male or female on female. We're not in favor of that. So the Lord never intended for us to go to war to make people live holy lives. The way it's got to be done is it's got to be, if man is going to live the way God wants him to live, they've got to start with the foundation that the Lord laid. The principle is get the soul saved and let the body follow the mandate of the soul and the mandate of God's Spirit. Because see, God deals with man's soul, which is the seat of his intellect and his emotions. So God deals with that. So when we talk about, let's just use this as an example. When we talk about homosexuality, that's a soulish issue. It is manifest in the flesh, but it starts in the depths of man's soul, in his emotions and his intellect. That's where it really starts. So in order to deal with that, you have to deal with the soul from the perspective that the Lord has ordained. And if we try to force people to do what we want them to do, it will only divide the entire country, the entire world, and everybody will be fighting against each other. But I will share with you, that's actually God's plan. God's plan is all of this must come to a conclusion. But we as Christians don't need to be a part of that foolishness. We don't need to be a part of that. We don't need to partake of that. And I know they had, this is political, so I'm not putting it on air. And they were talking about this interview they did with Donald Trump last night. There's a whole lot of talk about that. Let me share some with you. This is just me. Hold on a second. Okay. This is just me. I do not believe, this is me now. Y'all do what you want to. I don't believe